I used to think of Grandma Aurora as an open book. Her life a series of joyful moments that she shared freely with our family. Her blue eyes sparkled like a summer sky on a cloudless day, and her hugs could heal any pain, making everything better with just one embrace. But little did I know, there was so much more to her than the laughter, the wisdom, and the comforting presence she so generously offered to all who loved her. As I sit here now surrounded by the memories of a life well lived, I'm reminded of the countless afternoons we spent together, sipping tea and listening to her stories of love, loss, and resilience. Yet, it wasn't until her passing that I stumbled upon a secret she kept hidden for so long. A secret that would change everything I thought I knew about Grandma Aurora, about our family, and about the power of love and sacrifice. It happened on a somber day, as I was going through her belongings, trying to find some solace in the familiar scents and textures of her home. I opened an old wooden box, its surface worn and dusty, a testament to years of being tucked away, forgotten. And there, nestled between yellowed letters and faded photographs, was a worn leather diary. Its cover creaked as I opened it, releasing a whisper of the past into the present. The pages, yellowed with age, revealed a world I never knew existed. A world of love, of longing, of choices made and paths not taken. As I began to read, a shiver ran down my spine. This was Grandma Aurora's hidden diary, a chronicle of her innermost thoughts, her deepest fears, and her most enduring desires. In the days that followed, I devoured every word, every sentence, every tear-stained page. And what I discovered shook me to my core. The woman I thought I knew, the woman I loved and admired, was so much more complex, so much more human. Her story spoke of a forbidden love, of sacrifices made for the sake of family, of a lost treasure that spanned generations. As I share her story with you, I invite you to join me on a journey of revelation, of heartbreak, and of ultimate redemption. It's a story that will take you across continents, through wars and depressions, through moments of great joy and unspeakable sorrow. It's a story about the enduring power of love, about the choices we make, and about the legacies we leave behind. Over the coming hours, we'll embark on this journey together, delving into the secrets of Grandma Aurora's hidden diary. With each step, with each revelation, I promise you that you'll find yourself drawn into a world that's both familiar and yet utterly foreign. A world that will challenge your perceptions, stir your heart, and perhaps, just perhaps, change you in ways you're still to discover. So let's begin, shall we? The story of Grandma Aurora's hidden diary awaits, and I'm honored to be your guide on this journey of discovery. In the late 1930s, nestled in the heart of America, lay Willow Creek, a small, quiet rural town that time seemed to have forgotten. The air was sweet with the scent of blooming wildflowers, and the sky was a brilliant blue that stretched out endlessly. It was a place where simplicity and peace reigned, where the rhythms of nature dictated the pace of life. Mornings began before dawn, with the sound of roosters crowing and the gentle stirrings of farm life. The sun would rise, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, as the townsfolk started their daily routines. In a modest farmhouse on the outskirts of town, surrounded by a garden that burst with color and life, lived the loving family of Aurora. Her parents, hardworking and kind, tilled the land with care, teaching their children the value of hard work and the beauty of the earth. Thomas, Aurora's older brother, was a dreamer, with a passion for flying that shone bright in his eyes. He'd spend hours poring over books on aviation, his imagination soaring with the planes he longed to pilot one day. Lily, on the other hand, was the poet of the family, seeing the world through a lens of wonder and magic. Her eyes would light up at the simplest things, a sunset, a dewdrop on a spider's web, the first snowflake of winter. Aurora, a young woman with a heart full of dreams and a mind full of questions, found solace in books. She'd often escape to the shade of a sprawling oak tree, getting lost in the pages of classics and adventures. Her love for reading wasn't just a pastime. It was a journey to far-off lands, a meeting of minds with authors who seemed to understand her innermost thoughts. There was a restlessness within her, a sense that there was more to life than the rolling hills and familiar streets of Willow Creek. It wasn't dissatisfaction, exactly, but a yearning for something beyond the horizon. The days blended together in a harmonious routine. Mornings in the fields, school afternoons filled with learning and laughter, and starry nights that seemed to whisper secrets to those who listened. Community gatherings were a highlight, with music, dance, and stories shared under the open sky. Aurora loved these moments, the sense of belonging and connection to her community. Yet, even in the joy and simplicity, there was a whisper of discontent within her, a subtle stirring that hinted at a future not quite aligned with the peaceful life she knew. As she walked through the fields, feeling the earth beneath her feet and the wind in her hair, Aurora couldn't shake the feeling that there was a story waiting for her, a story she had yet to discover. And though Willow Creek was a place of serene beauty, she felt an inexplicable pull towards the unknown, a sense that her life was about to take a turn that would lead her far beyond the familiar boundaries of her beloved town. Little did she know, the tranquility of her world was but a calm before the storm, a moment of peace that would soon be filled with the sounds of distant thunder and the rustling of leaves, signaling the beginning of a journey that would change her life forever. The summer air in Willow Creek was alive with the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers and the gentle hum of cicadas, a soothing serenade that had lulled Aurora into a sense of complacency. But as the days shortened and the nights grew cooler, whispers of a distant conflict began to seep into their peaceful lives. At first, it was just a rumor, a mention of European tensions on the radio, a headline in the newspaper about the rise of Nazism. The news seemed like a far-off storm, its thunder muffled by the mountains that cradled their valley. Thomas, ever the adventurer, was the first to sense the excitement in the air. He'd gather around the radio with the other boys, listening to news broadcasts with a mixture of awe and envy. "Imagine being part of something bigger than ourselves," he'd say, his eyes aglow with the possibility of flying planes, of fighting for a cause. Aurora's parents, however, were more cautious, their faces lined with worry as they talked about the war's potential impact on their farm, on their livelihood. Aurora watched it all with a growing sense of unease. She'd always believed in the goodness of people, in the inherent kindness that bound them together. But as she listened to the news, as she saw the concern etched on her parents' faces, she began to question the world's justice. Was it really so simple, this black and white view of right and wrong? The more she pondered, the more the world seemed to tilt on its axis, revealing shadows she'd never noticed before. It was on one of these contemplative evenings, as she sat by the lamp, scribbling in her diary, that she first saw him. Elias, a young man in a military uniform, walked into town with a purposeful stride, his eyes scanning the streets as if searching for something or someone. There was something about him that didn't quite fit, a sense of difference that Aurora couldn't quite put her finger on. Maybe it was the way he carried himself, with an air of quiet confidence, or the way his eyes seemed to hold 1,000 secrets. Their glance met, and for a moment time stood still. Aurora felt a spark of curiosity, a sense of connection that went beyond a simple hello. It was as if they'd both been waiting for this moment, this chance encounter that would change the course of their lives forever. As Elias drew closer, Aurora noticed the way his eyes crinkled at the corners, the way his smile seemed to hold a hint of mischief. He was not like the other boys in town, with their country smiles and easy laughter. There was a depth to him, a sense of experience that went beyond his years. "Aurora," he said, his voice low and smooth, "I've heard a lot about you." She felt a flush rise to her cheeks, a sense of shyness that she hadn't experienced in years. "And I've heard nothing about you," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Elias chuckled, a low husky sound that sent shivers down her spine. "I suppose that's only fair," he said, his eyes glinting with amusement. "I'm not sure I'm ready to be known just yet." As they talked, Aurora sensed that there was more to Elias than met the eye. He was hiding something, a secret that he carried with him like a weight. But she couldn't quite put her finger on what it was, or why she felt so drawn to him. The sun was setting over Willow Creek, casting long shadows across the streets. Aurora felt a sense of foreboding, a sense that their lives were about to change in ways they couldn't yet imagine. And as she looked into Elias's eyes, she knew that she was ready to face whatever came next, as long as he was by her side. As the days turned into weeks, the secret meetings between Aurora and Elias became a beacon of hope in the midst of gathering darkness. They'd steal away to the old barn, its wooden beams worn smooth by time and weather, or find solace in the sunflower field, where bright yellow petals towered above them like sentinels of joy. Their love blossomed quietly yet powerfully, a flame that flickered with every stolen glance, every whispered promise. In these moments the war seemed far away, its shadows receding as they lost themselves in each other's eyes. But the world outside wouldn't be kept at bay for long. Elias's eyes, once bright with a sense of adventure, began to cloud over with a worry that deepened by the day. It was as if he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders, a burden he couldn't share, not even with Aurora. She sensed it, though, felt the tension coiling in his body like a spring about to snap. One evening, as they sat together on the edge of the sunflower field, watching the sun dip below the horizon, Elias took her hand in his. "Aurora, I have to tell you something," he said, his voice low and urgent. "Something I should have told you from the beginning." His eyes locked onto hers, filled with a mixture of fear and determination. She felt a shiver run down her spine as he revealed his true identity. A German scientist, a deserter from a regime that would stop at nothing to claim a powerful encryption device, an artifact that could change the course of the war. Elias had been sent to find it, to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. And he believed it was hidden somewhere in Willow Creek. As the truth unfolded, Aurora's mind reeled. The man she loved was a fugitive, hunted by the very people she'd grown up to trust. The artifact, a mysterious object with the power to tip the scales of war, was hidden somewhere in their town. She thought of her family, her friends, the quiet lives they'd built. It all seemed so fragile now, so easily shattered. And then there was the diary, her secret confidant, her silent companion through the turmoil. She'd poured her heart into its pages, her love for Elias, her fear of the unknown. As she wrote, she felt a sense of clarity, a determination forming. She couldn't just stand by, she had to act. With Elias's guidance, they began to search for the artifact. Their quest led them to the old church, its stone walls bearing witness to generations of laughter, tears, and prayers. Beneath its floor, a secret labyrinth lay hidden, an ancient passageway left by Elias's mentor, a clockmaker with a genius for hiding truths in plain sight. As they navigated the dark, dusty tunnels, Aurora felt her heart pounding in her chest. She was scared, but she was also determined. For Elias, for herself, for the future they both wanted. She'd face whatever dangers lay ahead. The diary became her anchor, her reminder of why she was doing this. She wrote of her fears, her doubts, but also of her growing courage. With every step into the unknown, she felt herself transforming, evolving from a passive observer to an active participant in a story that would decide the fate of those she loved. And as they drew closer to their goal, the shadows around them seemed to deepen, the air thickening with an almost palpable sense of danger. Nazi agents disguised as civilians had begun to appear in Willow Creek, their eyes scanning the streets, searching for Elias, for the artifact. The town's tranquility was shattering, replaced by a growing paranoia, a sense of imminent threat. Aurora's transformation was underway. She was no longer just a young woman caught in the tides of history. She was a guardian of hope, a keeper of secrets, and a lover willing to risk everything for the man she adored. The stakes had never been higher, but with Elias by her side, and the diary as her guide, she felt ready to face whatever came next. As we descend into the depths of the underground labyrinth, the air thickens with anticipation, the silence punctuated only by the soft rustle of our footsteps on the damp earth. Elias and I have been searching for what feels like an eternity, our hearts pounding in unison with every step, every creak of the ancient stones. The clockmaker's puzzle, a complex web of levers and gears, lies before us, its solution the key to unlocking the secret chamber. My hands tremble slightly as I work on the puzzle, Elias's eyes locked on mine, his face a mask of tense concentration. The sound of dripping water echoes through the passage, a steady heartbeat that underscores our urgency. With a soft click, the mechanism releases and a section of the wall slides open, revealing a small, dimly lit room. Inside, nestled on a pedestal of black stone, lies the artifact, a small crystal orb that seems to pulsate with an inner light. Elias's breath catches as he reaches out, his hand closing around it with a sense of reverence. But our triumph is short-lived. The sound of footsteps, heavy and deliberate, echoes through the labyrinth, growing louder with each passing moment. Nazi agents, their faces twisted with malice, emerge from the shadows, their guns drawn. Elias and I exchange a glance, our hearts racing in tandem as we prepare for the confrontation. The air is electric with tension, the labyrinth seeming to shrink around us, its walls closing in. Without hesitation, Elias pushes me behind him, his eyes flashing with determination. I grab his arm, pulling him back into the fray. We move as one, our steps fluid and practiced, as we navigate the narrow passages. I use my knowledge of the labyrinth to evade our pursuers, dodging and weaving through the darkness. The battle is intense, the sound of gunfire and grunts filling the air. Elias takes a blow, his body jerking to one side, but he refuses to fall. I feel a surge of fear, of panic, but it's quickly replaced by a sense of determination. I must protect Elias and the artifact. In a final desperate bid to save us, Elias makes a choice. With a look of anguish, he pushes me toward the exit, the artifact clutched in my hand. "Go, Aurora," he whispers, his voice barely audible over the din of battle. "Take it and don't look back." I hesitate, torn between my desire to stay and my duty to escape. Elias's eyes lock on mine, a deep sadness and love shining within them. With a nod, I turn and run, the sound of gunfire and Elias's cries echoing through the labyrinth. As I emerge into the cool night air, I feel a sense of disconnection, as if I've been severed from my own heart. Elias is gone, sacrificed in the name of our mission. I clutch the artifact to my chest, the weight of his loss crushing me. Tears stream down my face as I run, the darkness seeming to swallow me whole. But even in my grief, I feel a sense of purpose. I have the artifact, and with it Elias's legacy. The diary, once a symbol of my own desires, has become something more. A testament to our love, and the promise I made to Elias. I will carry his memory with me, and the weight of his sacrifice. The world may be crumbling around us, but I will stand tall, a beacon of hope in the darkness. For Elias, for us, and for the future we dreamed of, I will keep moving forward. As I stumbled out of the labyrinth, the night air hit me like a slap, cold and unforgiving. The rain-soaked earth squelched beneath my feet, a sound that echoed through my hollow mind. I clutched the small, pulsing sphere to my chest, the artifact that had become a bittersweet reminder of Elias's sacrifice. My heart felt heavy, weighed down by the crushing grief that threatened to consume me. The walk home was a blur, my legs trembling beneath me. I couldn't shake the image of Elias's face, his eyes locked on mine as he pushed me away. The memory of his smile, his laughter, now taunted me, a bittersweet reminder of what I'd lost. I pushed open the creaky door, and the warm glow of the lamp in the hallway was like a cruel joke. The familiar comfort of home only made my pain feel more acute. My family, oblivious to the storm raging inside me, welcomed me with open arms. "Aurora dear, you're shivering," my mother said, wrapping a soft blanket around my shoulders. I forced a smile, a weak, watery thing that seemed to convince no one. They thought I'd had a terrible accident, that I'd stumbled and fallen in the labyrinth. They had no idea. As I lay in bed that night, the diary clutched tightly in my hand, I let the tears flow. Elias's words, scribbled on those pages, were my only solace. I poured out my heart to him, to the diary, to anyone who would listen. The weight of my promise to him settled heavy on my shoulders. I would see this through no matter the cost. The days that followed were a haze of pretending, of putting on a mask of normalcy for my family's sake. But I couldn't shake the feeling of isolation, of being trapped in a secret that was eating away at me. My parents and siblings noticed the change in me, the distant look in my eyes, but they couldn't understand what I'd been through. In the silence of my room, I began to study the artifact, to pore over Elias's notes in the diary. The sphere pulsed with a gentle light, as if urging me on. I felt a spark of determination ignite within me, a flame that grew brighter with each passing day. I would uncover the secrets of the artifact, honor Elias's memory, and fulfill his mission. The library became my refuge, a place where I could lose myself in books and research, driven by the need to understand. As I sat at a wooden desk surrounded by dusty tomes, I felt Elias's presence around me, guiding me. The sadness in my eyes was still there, but it was no longer overwhelming. I was beginning to find my footing, to chart a new path, one that would lead me out of this darkness and into a future I couldn't yet see. But I was ready to take the first step, to follow the thread of Elias's legacy, no matter where it might lead. As I left Willow Creek, the familiar comforts of home faded into the distance, replaced by the anonymity of a larger city. I settled into a modest apartment, its walls a canvas of blankness, waiting to be filled with the whispers of my mission. The city's rhythm was a cacophony of sounds, a symphony of strangers rushing to their destinations. I blended in, a leaf on a stream, unnoticed and unseen. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. I found solace in the musty scent of libraries, where dusty tomes and yellowed documents held secrets waiting to be unearthed. Elias's diary was my constant companion, its pages dog-eared and worn from countless readings. I pored over his notes, decoding the cryptic messages, and seeking out experts who could help me understand the artifact's true power. It wasn't just a device. It was a key to deciphering enemy codes, predicting strategic movements. The weight of responsibility settled upon me, like a mantle I couldn't shake. I devoured books on cryptography, studied maps, and practiced assembling and disassembling the artifact's components. My hands moved with a newfound precision, as if the very fate of the war depended on it. I recall a particular evening, hunched over a table in a dimly lit cafe, deciphering a coded message. The words blurred together, like a puzzle waiting to be solved. Elias's words echoed in my mind. The greatest secrets are hidden in plain sight. I took a deep breath, and the letters rearranged themselves, revealing a message that sent a shiver down my spine. As I honed my skills, I became a ghost, invisible and silent. I observed suspicious individuals, noting their movements, and gathering information in public places. A crowded train station became a hunting ground, where I tracked a suspect, my heart pounding in my chest. I learned to evade surveillance, to blend into the shadows, and to listen more than I spoke. The Nazi threat lingered like a specter, always lurking just beyond the edge of perception. I narrowly avoided detection one evening, as I slipped into a narrow alley, my heart racing like a rabbit's. A suspicious individual lingered at the entrance, their eyes scanning the crowd, as if searching for a ghost. I held my breath, frozen in time, until they moved on, unaware of the presence they had almost discovered. Solitude was my constant companion, a bittersweet reminder of Elias's absence. Yet, his memory fueled my determination, like a fire burning bright in the darkness. I knew I was not alone. The artifact, Elias's legacy, and the mission we shared kept me company. In the silence of my apartment, I would sometimes hear Elias's voice, whispering words of encouragement. I felt his presence, a gentle nudge urging me forward. The artifact pulsed with a soft blue light, a reminder of the power it held, and the responsibility I had shouldered. As I navigated this treacherous landscape, I began to realize that I was no longer the same young woman who had left Willow Creek. I had grown, like a tree strengthened by the storms it weathered. My roots ran deep, anchoring me to the earth as I reached for the sky, driven by a fierce determination to see this journey through to its end. The war raged on, but I was no longer just a bystander. I was a player, a secret keeper, and a guardian of hope. As the war finally drew to a close, Aurora felt a sense of relief wash over her, like the gentle lapping of waves on a still pond. She had done it. She had played her part in helping to turn the tide against the Nazi forces. The artifact, once a burden, had become a powerful tool in her hands, allowing her to transmit crucial intelligence to the Allied forces. She remembered the countless nights spent in secret offices, tapping out coded messages, her fingers flying across the keyboard with a practiced ease. The thrill of those moments, the sense of purpose, had sustained her through the darkest of times. The victories that followed, the slow but inexorable push of the Allies across Europe, were a testament to the impact of her work. And when the news of the war's end finally came, Aurora felt a deep sense of satisfaction, a sense of fulfillment that she had never known before. She had done something that mattered. She had made a difference. As the world around her began to rebuild, Aurora sought a new beginning. She left the city with its noise and chaos, and returned to Willow Creek, the quiet, peaceful town where her journey had first begun. She bought a small house on the outskirts of town, with a garden that stretched out towards the sunset, and spent her days tending to the flowers, and her evenings reading or playing her music. The artifact, now a cherished symbol of Elias and her past, was carefully stored in a beautiful music box, its delicate patterns and soft, golden glow a reminder of the love and sacrifice that had sustained her. She would open it sometimes, letting the sweet, melancholy notes of the music wash over her, and remember. As the years passed, Aurora grew into the wise, loving grandmother that I knew. Her eyes, once bright with a youthful fire, had mellowed like a fine wine, into a warm, gentle light. Her laughter, once a rare and precious thing, was now a common sound, a joyous, infectious laugh that drew people to her, like a magnet. And I, her granddaughter, was the luckiest of all. I would sit at her feet, listening entranced as she told me stories of her past, of Elias and the artifact of the war, and the sacrifices she had made. Her diary, once a secret, was now a testament to her strength, her courage, and her love. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, always a way forward, and that the power of love and sacrifice can change the world. As I look back, I realize that my grandmother's seemingly simple life was built upon extraordinary experiences and profound sacrifices. But it's not just the big moments, the dramatic events that define us. It's the quiet, everyday choices, the ones we make with love and courage and a sense of purpose. And Grandma Aurora's life was a testament to that. As I sit here, surrounded by the memories of a lifetime, I find myself lost in the pages of Grandma Aurora's diary. What was once a mysterious relic, hidden away for safekeeping, has become a map to her soul. Reading her words, I feel like I'm unraveling the threads of a tapestry, woven with love, sacrifice, and resilience. My perception of her has shifted. She's no longer just a grandmother, but a complex, multifaceted woman who lived a life that defied the ordinary. I recall the stories she used to tell me as a child, tales of fairies and heroes, of magic and bravery. I thought they were just fantasies, meant to entertain and educate. But now I realize they were metaphors for her own extraordinary journey. The fairies were the whispers of hope, guiding her through the darkness. The heroes were the ordinary people, who stood up against the tide of hatred and fear. Her stories were coded messages, hidden in plain sight, teaching me about the power of courage and love. Aurora's legacy is not just the artifact or the secret she kept. It's the silent strength she embodied, the wisdom she shared through her stories, and the unconditional love she gave to everyone around her. Her life was a testament to the complexity and beauty of human experience. As I reflect on her journey, I see parallels with my own life, the struggles, the triumphs, and the moments of doubt. Her experiences continue to inspire and guide me as I navigate my own path. Reading her diary has been an emotional catharsis, a journey of understanding and peace. It's as if I've been given a treasure, a guide to help me navigate the twists and turns of life. I feel a deep sense of gratitude, knowing that her story is now a part of me. I'm reminded that our lives are interconnected, that the choices we make, and the stories we tell, have the power to shape the world around us. Aurora's story teaches me that discovering our own hidden stories, and sharing them with others, is a powerful way to leave a lasting legacy. It's a reminder that we all have the capacity to be heroes, in our own small ways, by standing up for what we believe in, and by loving without condition. As I close this diary, I feel a sense of closure, and a profound understanding of the human experience. I'm inspired to share my own stories, and to encourage others to do the same, so that we may continue to learn from each other, and grow together. As we close the chapter on Grandma Aurora's remarkable journey, we're reminded that life is a tapestry woven with threads of courage, love, and resilience. Her story, a testament to the human spirit, shows us that even in the darkest times, there is always hope, and that the power of sacrifice and love can change the world. If these tales of Aurora's strength, wisdom, and heart have resonated with you, then I am grateful, for that is the purpose of her story. It doesn't end here, though. It continues through each of us, in our own experiences, struggles, and triumphs. Now, as we bring this narrative full circle, I'd like to invite you to take a moment to reflect on the journey we've shared. If you feel inspired, please leave your like, subscribe to our channel for more stories that uplift and inspire, and share this with someone who might find solace or strength in Aurora's legacy. As the camera pans out, imagine a montage of key moments from Aurora's story unfolding before your eyes. The laughter, the tears, the moments of courage and sacrifice. Let the essence of her story stay with you, guiding you through life's challenges. And as we part ways, I leave you with a question. What secret do you think Grandma Aurora held dearest to her heart? One that gave her the strength to face the world with such courage and love. Share your thoughts with us, we'd love to hear from you. In closing, may Grandma Aurora's story be a reminder that our lives are but a collection of moments, choices, and stories. May her legacy inspire you to live with intention, to love without bounds, and to face each day with the courage and resilience that defined her extraordinary life.